Well, thank you guys all so much for joining. Try and find a comfortable position. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit more about yin yoga because we got a couple people who are new to this practice. So what we're going to do today is, yin yoga. And what the intention with that is that we're going to hold the poses for about 3 to 5 minutes. Today I'm going to do more 3-minute ones. So if people are getting anxious with the 5-minute, don't worry, we're usually doing 3 minutes today. And what the idea is that we're gonna find a comfortable position within the pose that we're gonna do. So at any time when you feel pain or you think that it's getting too much pressure somewhere, that's your cue to come out of the pose or to adjust the pose or anything like that. And since, well, at least one of you decided not to turn on the camera, that's perfectly fine. But I want to tell you that you need to be extra careful for yourself because I can't see what you're doing. And as we're doing everything on Zoom, it's also already a little bit harder for me to see things, but I'm going to try and keep an eye on you guys. But most importantly, try and find that edge where you're still okay and no pain at any time. It's not allowed. That's the only thing that's not allowed today. So we're going to focus a lot on the breathing. And once you're in the pose and you find the comfort of the pose, I'm usually also going to shut up and I'm just going to let you feel what it does for you. And once you come out of the pose is when you usually like get a sort of rush going through your body of things that were restricted before, and then you're gonna let it go. So you might feel certain parts of your body getting a little warm or maybe a little tingly or anything like that, or maybe you feel the muscles just sort of relaxing after they have been contracted for a little bit. So just feel what happens. And one more, no pain. Keeping an eye on you guys, no pain. Okay, so try and find a comfortable position that you can hold for a little while, and we're gonna close our eyes for a minute. Try to see where your breath is at right now and try to feel it going in and going out. Lengthening your spine like there was a string on the top of your head, pulling you up just a tiny bit. And with that straight spine, try and find the comfort in the position. Try and feel the parts of your body that are touching the floor. And feel how comfortable that is and how steady it makes you feel. Keeping your focus on the breath, try to feel where it comes in and how it goes out. Is your breath shallow or a little deeper? And where can you feel the breath expanding your body? Maybe your belly expands, or maybe your chest expands. Or maybe you notice that your nose feels the cold of the breath coming in and going out. Try and feel where the body is at right now without changing anything. Try and feel whether there is discomfort somewhere, or whether you are holding any tension. And with every out breath, let a little bit of the tension go. If at all possible, try to breathe towards your belly. And if it helps you, place your hand on your belly. Keeping your attention on your breath, I'm going to sound the bell 3 times. As you hear the bell die out, breathe in, getting your shoulders up through your ears, and breathe out, rolling your shoulders back. Do it 2 more times. In, shoulders up. Out, shoulders down. In, shoulders up. And out, shoulders down. And then slowly open your eyes. For the first pose we're going to do, I want you to come into tabletop position. Place your big toes together and place your knees on the outside of your mat and sit back onto your heels, stretching your hands forward and placing your forehead on the ground. Child's pose. When you find that comfortable position, remember to go back to your breath. Try and place your butt on your heels. Doing great. And just breathe. Try to feel where your breath is going. And try and see if you can make it go towards your belly. Breathing in, feeling the belly expand. And breathing out, feeling the air go out. When your mind starts talking to you and starts telling you that you should move, or what are we doing, or anything like that, just notice it and go back to your breath. Just 1 more minute. Try and see that your breath is slowing down, that your heart rate is slowing down, and that all the stresses of the day wash off of you. Try and forget about all the to-dos. Try and let go of all the things that you've done, or maybe also the things you haven't done. And just remember that you took this hour for yourself to reconnect with your body and reconnect with your breath. Just a couple more breaths. Try and deepen these last few breaths. On the next inhale, try and pull yourself forward on your hands and come back into a tabletop position. If you like, do a couple of cat-cows in between, breathing out, making the back go up like a cat. Breathing in, getting a hollow back like a cow. And do it a couple of times, just to sure to shake out what we just did. You're doing great. Next thing I want you to do is take your right hand and make it go underneath your left armpit, threading the needle, as they say, and then placing your right shoulder on the floor. And yeah, you can also place your head on the floor. And try to find the ease within this position. Yes, you're doing great. Feel how does it work when you come onto your heels and go like this? Is that too much still? Doing great, you guys, and keep breathing. Maybe you can feel that your breath gets stuck in your upper chest a little, or maybe you can feel it go down your spine. With this position, we put a twist in your spine, which really helps the body to digest and to detoxify. Louisa, for you as well, it might be easier to come onto your heels and then go through like this so that there's not that much pressure on your knees. Doing great. Just a couple more breaths. And again, try and deepen these last few breaths. And on the next inhale, come back to the tabletop position. We're going to go to the other side. So now we take our left hand and make it go underneath our right armpit. Come onto our shoulder and come onto our left side of our head. Keep breathing. If you can, try and let your breath go to your belly. And whilst you do that, you might also feel that your chest is expanding, putting a little pressure on your upper back. Try and keep some awareness in that area. And even if your mind is telling you, oh man, this is so slow, what am I doing? That's okay. Notice it and come back to the breath. Just a couple more breaths. And on the next inhale, come back to tabletop position. Doing great. Sit onto your heels, maybe hug yourself. Try and feel to stretch it out a little. Doing awesome, you guys. Okay, now you can go onto your back. And I want you to straighten your left leg. And then try and hug in your right knee into your chest. Awesome. Now as you breathe towards your belly, you might feel your belly put some pressure on your upper right leg. Try and make a connection with that pressure. Feel the breath go in and go out. Trying to find the ease within the pose. If you want, in any pose, you can just close your eyes to internalize the practice even more, to make it easier to feel what's going on inside. And as always, keep breathing. On the next exhale, extend your right leg and grab your left knee and pull that towards your chest. Feeling great. If you feel like there's too much pressure going on, you can also bend your right leg. But I feel like all of you guys are doing great with just leaving the leg extended. Keep breathing. Feeling the air go in and go back out. With all of these poses and the easy pace at which we're doing the poses, we're diving into the rest and digest system of the body, slowing down before going to bed, slowing down the body after a hard day's work, or maybe a hard day of doing other things, keeping the mind busy. On the next exhale, lower your leg down and let it land on your feet, close to your buttocks. Now what I want you to do is take your right leg and place the ankle on top of the left knee. And then you can intertwine your fingers behind your left leg, or if you're really flexible, you can also grab your shin. And lower your head back onto the floor and try and relax your shoulders with that. If you're super flexible and you might still feel like you need a little more, you can also extend your leg and then grab your calf from there. Try and feel where your body is at today and try to see what you need today. No need to push yourself. No need to prove anything to anybody. And try and focus on your breath again. You're doing absolutely great. With the next exhale, let your foot drop to the floor again and switch position. Inhaling, placing the left ankle on the right knee and grabbing it wherever you felt comfortable. do try and make it the same position as you did on the other leg. Doing great. Going back to your breath and feel it going in and going out. If you're in the room with somebody else, or maybe you feel like you need to prove anything, I do want to remind you that all bodies are different. And where some bodies can do something, other bodies can do other things. And there's no wrong, there's no right. As we discussed last week, the flexibility of some people is even the one thing that makes them go into injuries more quickly. So try and honor your body where it's at. Feel the stretch, but avoid any sorts of pain. If you start to feel any discomfort or pain in your knee, I want you to come back to a different position that works for you. And at all times, try and keep focused on your breath. You're doing great. The next exhale, let your leg drop down again. And what I want you to do is grab, leave the right leg, bent, and take the left leg and try and pull it towards you, wherever feels comfortable. And try and keep your shoulders down on the floor. No need to put any strain on it. And if you feel like there is no room at all, then this is a time for you to grab your strap or your belt or your scarf or anything and just gently place it on top. And you can do that with a bent leg, of course. Place it on top of your toes and just gently hold it anywhere that feels comfortable. But try and let your upper body gently lay on the floor. I see some people who have a bent leg. Try and straighten that leg, but just let your strap go and hold it at the edges. That's all fine. Doing great, you guys. Doing great. On the next inhale, try and get some action in your abdominal area. And on the exhale, fold your nose towards your knee. And then let the position go. We're going to go to the other side. So place your left foot on the floor. And just for the flexible people, you can come into the same position on this side, sorry. But for the overly flexible people, because I know we got a couple in our group, you can also extend the leg if that feels good to you. So the left leg can also be extended onto the floor. But try not to push yourself too much. You need to find the ease within the pose. You're doing great. And try and breathe, going back to the breath. Feeling it go in and out. Maybe your legs start shaking, or you feel a little tremble in your breath. That's all good. Just notice it and let it be there. No need to change, no need to alter. Just notice it. Your next inhale, get some action into your abdominal area, and on the exhale, get your nose towards your knee and let go of this position. You're doing absolutely great. Now what I want you to do is grab a few pillows. And what you're gonna do, so get them close so that you can just grab them. What you wanna do is you wanna place your heels close to your bottom so that you're able to touch your heels with your fingertips. And then what you're gonna do is on the inhale, you're gonna get your lower back flush with the mat. And on the exhale, you're gonna slowly lift it up vertebrae by vertebrae. And then you're gonna slide some pillows underneath your butt. And you're just gonna gently rest it. Rest your butt on the pillows. And then as you're situated, make sure that you're looking straight up at the ceiling and close your eyes. Try to see what this does and what's happening to your breath right now. Maybe you feel that your dinner is trying to press on your lungs. Or maybe you feel just that the breath is getting a little harder to make it go down to your belly. That's all good. Just notice it. Maybe you can feel a little bit of heat in your legs from the last pose, or maybe a little tremble. Again, everything's fine. Just try and be aware and notice and come back to the breath. This is one of those positions where it feels like nothing is going on. So this might really feel, maybe your head is going wild right now. Like, what are we doing? What am I supposed to feel? What am I doing? But trust me, you're going to notice when we pull the pillows away. It's a more gentle pose, this one. You're doing great. Keep breathing. Couple more breaths. And on the next exhale, come all the way up, keeping the knees together. Take a couple of breaths there, and then slowly come down on the exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae. Take the pillows away from where they were, and come down, flush onto the mat. Extend your legs, or maybe it feels better for you to hug your knees into your chest and roll over the small of your back just a couple of times, maybe a few circles. You're doing great. Awesome. Okay. So for the next pose, I want to ask you to come into a tabletop position again. And this time we're gonna do pigeon pose. So what we're gonna do is we take your left knee and make it come over to your right wrist, then turn it to your left wrist, and try and get your foot parallel with the front of your mat. But I do want to remind you that we don't want to have any pain. So what I want you to do is try and feel where your leg is at. For me, it means that my leg is about 45-degree angle down. So, and if you feel any discomfort in your knee, I want you to make that angle in your knee here. I want you to make it smaller. And if you feel flexible, then you can get it like totally parallel with the front of your mat. try and keep your like your hands or your fingers at the mat right now. Push yourself up, feeling a little bit of a stretch in your lower back, or a compression in your lower back actually. And now with your next exhale, if you feel comfortable enough, you can come onto your forearms, or you can come all the way down, lying over your or out over your left leg. Maybe even being able to place your head on the floor. And if you're not able to place your head on the floor, then please make like a little cushion with your hands and place your head on your hands. And again, breathe. Feel the stretch of your glute muscle, your upper leg. And if you feel any discomfort in your knee, then please come back. Maybe sit up or try and adjust the angle of your knee. If you're going to stay in this position while you have any discomfort in your knee, you're going to regret it tomorrow for sure. So please be gentle. And try and find the ease and breathe. Feeling the breath go in and out. Maybe you feel the pressure of your lower belly expanding onto your leg or your heel. Try to see what that feels like. And as we're holding these poses for a longer period of time, you might feel that the discomfort in your knee or anywhere in your leg is going to get too much. If that's the case, then I do want to urge you to come back up. Maybe on your forearms or anywhere where you feel the pressure just coming into this green zone. I didn't actually explain this to all of you yet, but we normally talk about feeling stretch or compression in 3 zones. It's a green zone, an orange zone, and a red zone. And within Yin Yoga, we never go into the red zone. But you also want to be careful with the orange zone. You're doing great. If you got out of the position because it was too much for you, I love you. You're doing awesome. You're taking good care of your own body. You know where your edge is. And you know when you go over it. With the next inhale, slowly move your way up to your hands again. And then curl your toes under for the right leg. And slide the left leg to a tabletop position. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So what I want you to do is take that right knee, go over to the left wrist, then turn it towards the right wrist. And then you have the same position as just before. You're all good? Great. Rochelle, you found it as well? Good. Oh, sorry. We're staying up. And on the next exhale, come onto your forearms or lay all the way down over your leg. Try and place your forehead on the floor. And if that's not possible, then make a pillow with your hands. If at all possible, then try and do the same position as you did on the other side. But if you feel like it was too much on the other side, then you also got your sign not to overdo it on this side. Try and find the ease again. Try and find your breath within this position. Feel the belly expand on your inhale. Feel the air go out on the exhale. You're doing great. Stay connected with your breath. Feel the breath going in and going out. And if you feel any thoughts come up, and notice that they're there, acknowledge them and let them move on. No need to worry yourself right now with any thoughts. Try and feel the sensations that are going on in your legs right now. Maybe there's a warming sensation. Maybe a tingling sensation. Or maybe the stretch in your buttocks is just all consuming, and that's fine too. If you feel any resistance, then try and breathe towards that resistance, relaxing with every exhale. And your next inhale, come up to your hands again. Curl your left toes under and slide your right knee to the tabletop position. Move a little left to right. Try and relax your legs. And then when you feel you're ready, come and sit on your mat and get into a wide-legged position. And wide-legged can also be here, can also be here, it can be further. I can't show that because I can't. This is a hard pose for me too, so try and see where you're at. And if you feel like your back is already rounding a lot, then try and sit up on something. So maybe meditation pillow, maybe a normal pillow, anything, just to get that little bit of lift so that you have a straight spine to begin with. And then on the exhale, you can fold forward and see where you land. If this is where you land, that's fine. If you land on your forearms, that's fine. It's all good as long as it's your appropriate edge. And mine is right here, so don't feel bad about any position. You're doing great. Try and feel the stretch on the inside of your legs and try to point your toes up towards the sky. Keep that activation in your legs. Yes. Doing great. And this is also a pose where there's no need to overdo it at any point. With every inhale, try and breathe towards the areas that are tight to you. And with every exhale, try and let that tension go. And notice where your breath is going right now. Are you still breathing towards your belly? Or was this position a little harder, and does it make you go not as deep with your breath? There's no right or wrong, just notice. And then try and breathe towards your belly again. You're doing great. It's a tough one, but breathe through it. Doing absolutely fine in any position where you're at. If it's getting too much, then sit back up and use your hands to help your legs back together. Try and see if you can hold it for just half a minute more. You can do it. Try and breathe towards those tight areas. Be aware of them. You're doing great. Just 3 more breaths. Make them count. On the next inhale, roll yourself up vertebrae by vertebrae. Come into straight spine. Then bend your knees a little and use your hands to get your legs back towards the middle. Doing great. Maybe shake them out a little. Roll to the left, right. Doing great. Okay, next pose I want to do is come into a squat position. I'm not sure how all of you guys are with that squat position, so I usually can't get my heels on the floor, so I have these little wedges. But if you took some books or maybe a pillow, or you can double up on your mat, so just do like this and sit on that with your heels. So I'm going to show you from the side just to see it. I usually go like this, and then I make sure that there's a little space in my hip area before I come down. And once I feel it's there, I lower down, straighten my back, and then I push my upper arms towards my knees and my knees towards my upper arms. So I'm going to show you from the front as well, so don't be disoriented. And you can hear my hips already making noises as well, so. We're just going to be here a couple minutes, so don't worry about it too much. And if you feel like there's not enough space, because I see some of you struggle with it as well, don't worry. What helps for me is to just come up again and then be on my toes and just sort of wiggle one way and the other. And then at some point you feel that your hips are getting a little more space, and then you can come down again. And if you're done, you're done. You're going to sit on your butt. You're all good. Try and feel where you're at. You're doing awesome by taking care of your own body. Doing great. Doing great, Louisa. Doing great. Just a couple more breaths. And if you're done, you're done. Try and breathe towards your belly. And on the next exhale, get your hands behind you and gently sit down into your butt. And this is the one time we take both of your knees, go a little in and out. Can you guys see? I don't know, go like this. Yeah. And then try and windshield wiper a couple of times. What they mean with that is just take the knees to one side and then take them to the other side. Try and feel the hips relaxing. Doing great. Okay, for your next position, I want you to already prepare. So if you got your blanket or anything like that, or a pillow, whichever works for you, I want you to take care of your spine. So we're going to go, so take a little bit of a position for that as well. We're going to go into plow pose, not this pose, but the pose after. So take a little bit of space, maybe scoot down on your mat, just a hair to be more in the middle. And then try and place that pillow halfway on your shoulder blades. So just that you have a little bit of extra cushioning so you can protect your vertebrae. Yeah? All good? Okay. What I want you to do is lift up and place that couple pillows that we had before underneath your butt again. And then you're just gonna lift your feet up into the air and find that sweet spot. If you feel like your legs are falling towards you, then you need to place your pillows a little bit further up your butt. And if you feel like your legs are falling away from you, then you need to make sure that you place them a little bit, place the pillows a little bit further so that they don't fall out. So there's this sweet spot where it feels like it doesn't cost you any effort to keep them up in the air. And if you feel like this is super hard, I told some of you already, but you can also grab a chair and just let your legs land on the chair. Does that work for you, maybe? Yeah. You can also lay up against a wall if that works. Just try and find that sweet spot. And then once you're there, try and look up towards the ceiling, close your eyes, and find your breath again. Where is it at right now? Maybe your legs start shaking a little. That's fine. That's just tension, the release of tension. Let the tension go and keep breathing. And don't worry about that trembling. Don't worry about it. Doing great. Just a couple more breaths. Try to deepen your breath. And on the next exhale, just let your feet land on the floor. I'm going to show you the next pose first because I want you to keep your neck straight. So if you have to twist to see the screen, I want you to be sure how to do this pose before you're going to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into plow pose. What that means is we're going to take the feet overhead, and you can either keep your hands on the floor, but then you have to make sure that your toes touch the floor on the behind your head. You can also grab your toes like this, if that helps. I want you to keep a special attention to the fact that you're keeping your spine straight, so no turning of the head because there's a lot of pressure on your neck in this position. And I want you to or at least be considerate of that vertebrae I just talked about. You're going to feel one of your vertebrae is going to be pressing on the floor, and I want you to monitor the pressure that's on that vertebrae. If it's too much, you come out of the pose. So with that said, take an in-breath, lift your legs, and then breathing out, coming all the way over in any position that you like. So either grabbing your toes or just letting your hands be on the floor. Maybe intertwine the fingers if you're like this. Press them on the floor. Find what works for you. And then in this position especially, try and find your breath. Where is it at? Try and find the sukha. Try and find the ease within this pose. If there's trembling, that's perfectly fine. Just notice it. Since a lot of you are new, I don't want to stay in this pose for too long. So the next thing I want you to do is to just bend your knees and roll over to your toes a little bit more. Again, keeping the neck straight. And keep breathing. On your next inhale, straighten legs. And then on the exhale, lower down real slow, vertebrae by vertebrae, until you're back on the floor or on your pillows where you were. Doing great, you guys. Okay. Next thing I want you to do is get your legs into a diamond shape. Some might know this as butterfly position, but you can stay flat on your back and just get your how do you say, the soles of your feet together. And lay in this position. If you feel like your knees can't relax or there's a lot of strain in your in the inside of your legs, then place a pillow underneath either of your knees, just to take the pressure off and for you to be able to relax. Something like this. And place your hands on your belly. And try and feel your breath going towards your belly. You just did a tougher pose. So maybe your breath has gone up a little, maybe your heart rate is a little faster than before. And we're using this pose to bring it down again. If you feel like your shoulders are way up towards your ears, then try and slide them down on your vertebrae. And try to feel your hips opening up and your legs relax. In Yin Yoga, they say that the people who don't use props, so who don't use pillows, who don't use a belt, who don't use anything, are also the people who have a hard time asking for help in real life. So if that's you, and that's fine, just notice it. And maybe next time you're going to do a pose, be a little more gentle. You're doing great. Feel your breath going in and going out. As we're staying longer in this pose, maybe you notice that the tension in the muscles on the inside of your leg is getting a little bit bigger. If that's so, then still try and find those pillows and put them underneath your knees so they're able to relax. It might be counterintuitive to most, but for you to be able to relax in all these positions actually allows you to get more flexible instead of pushing yourself. What we normally do when we do sports is we make these tiny tears in our muscles, and those make our muscles grow stronger. But with the stretching, if we create those little tears, then they're actually going to make our muscles more rigid. So if we are able to stretch our muscles with ease, it actually allows them to get more flexible more quickly. You're doing great. Keep breathing. And with the next inhale, use your hands to get your knees together. And if you want, do a little windshield wiper again. You're doing great. So we're on to the final few positions. I want to ask you to lay out your hands into what they usually call a Texas T. You just get them in like a cross-shape area, get them extended to, next to your shoulders. What I want you to do is just lift up on your feet just a little and then scoot over just a hair to the right side. And then I want you to let both of your knees fall to the left side. And you look towards your right hand, coming into a twist. If you feel that your knees are hovering or there's a big gap in between your knees, I'm gonna turn to show you. If you feel like your knees are like this, like hovering, or there's a lot of space in between both of your knees, then try and place something in between so that again you can relax in this position. This can also mean for you that maybe you need it underneath both of your knees so you're able to do this. It's all good. No judgment. Just try and find the ease within the pose. You want to feel a stretch within your back muscles and especially the lower back might talk to you right now. When you breathe, actually try and breathe towards your upper chest. And then when you exhale, try and find the ease within the pose, relaxing even further into it. Every twist that we do in yoga comes from your upper chest. This is the only place that we can really twist our spinal cord, or our spine, not our spinal cord. And if we don't do it there, then we usually compensate in our hip area. In this case, that means that, and I can even tell me that my knees are not in one line with each other. So if you feel like you could use a little more and there's nothing going on, then try and keep your knees right on top of each other. That is where the magic happens. You're doing great. Keep breathing. Just a half a minute more. You can do it. And on the next inhale, get your knees up to a neutral position again. Keep your arms as they are. Then scoot your bum over just a hair to the left and let your knees fall to the right, looking into your left hand. Trying to keep the shoulder on the floor and trying to keep the knees stacked on top of each other. You're doing great. And again, come back to your breath. Try to feel where it's at. Feel the breath travel along your spine, going into your lower belly. Or if you want to create a little more space, expand the upper chest, and with the exhale, relax into the position. You're doing great. Just a couple more breaths. And on the next inhale, let the legs come back up into a neutral spine position. And make yourself comfortable to come into the final resting position, Shavasana, or Dead Man pose. For the people who are new to yoga, you want to lay flat on your back and you want to cover yourself with a nice blankie. And then get your legs about hip width apart. If you like it a little more, like a little wider or a little more narrow, whichever feels comfortable to you, try and find a comfortable position. Try and make sure that all your props are out of the way so you don't touch any of them. And lay your hands facing upward on the floor in about a 45-degree angle away from your body. And make sure that your feet can move freely so they can just fall out to the sides. And everything in your body can relax. Take a couple of breaths to come into this comfortable position. And if you feel comfortable enough, use a sigh. So breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. Letting everything go. One more time. Breathing in and breathing out. And while you're here, relax your forehead. Relax the part in between your brows. Relax your facial muscles, your cheeks, your jaw. Let your tongue rest comfortably inside your mouth. Let your neck relax. Relax your left shoulder. Relax your left upper arm. Left lower arm. Left hand. Left thumb. Left pointer finger. Left middle finger. Left ring finger. And your left pinky. Relax your right shoulder. Your right upper arm. Your lower arm. Your right hand. Your right thumb. Your right pointer finger. Your right middle finger. Your right ring finger. your right pinky. Relax your chest. Relax your upper back. Relax your abdominal area and your lower belly. Relax your middle part of your back. Relax your lower back. Relax your pelvic area. Relax your left hip. Relax your left upper thigh, your upper leg. Relax your left lower leg, your left foot, your left big toe, your left second toe, third toe. Relax your fourth toe, and relax your fifth toe. And relax your right hip socket. Relax your right upper leg, your right lower leg, your right foot, your right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and your fifth toe. Then relax your entire body. Your entire body is now relaxed. As you hear the bell die out, bring a little bit of movement back into your toes and your fingers. And as you're ready, try and find a little bit of movement in your body. Maybe stretch your body head to toe, or maybe pull your knees towards your chest, stretching the lower back. And once you're ready, roll onto your right side, remaining with the eyes closed in a fetal position for a couple breaths. And on your next inhale, use your left hand to push yourself up towards a seated position, keeping the eyes closed and the gaze inward. And find your hands, palms facing each other in Anjali Mudra, prayer position in front of your heart. Take a couple of breaths here. And try to feel the difference from when you started. Thank yourself for coming onto your mat and taking the time for yourself. And with your next inhale, move your thumbs towards your third eye. Peaceful thoughts. Move your thumbs towards your lips. Peaceful words. Move your thumbs towards your heart area. Peaceful heart. And with a slight bow, we whisper Namaste.